Tell me more about what you guys do with the IFA and what's the benefit for a brand to join the network of IFA?
There's so much learning and sharing of information and education. People that have made the mistakes that, frankly, as a new brand, emerging brand, you shouldn't make yourself.
If someone was running a business, what's the benefit of the franchise model? Why should someone consider if they should franchise their business model or not? When someone's considering to grow their franchise, what does it mean by franchising responsibly versus non-responsibly?
Good franchising is really about ensuring that your franchisees are successful.
How have you seen the franchising sector just change over the years, and how far has it actually come? And where do you see it going franchising in the next 5-10 years? What direction are we heading towards? How can franchisors get involved to contribute to the overall mission? All right, you want to introduce yourself, please?
Matt Hattler, President and CEO of the International Franchise Association.
Tell me more about what you guys do with the IFA.
So our mission is to protect, to enhance, and to promote franchising as a business model. We've been around for 70 years. And we're a nonprofit organization, so we do lobbying, government affairs, we do conferences and events like what we're here at the IFA's Emerging Franchisor Conference this week. We have a dozen conferences over the course of the year, a ton of education programs. And then lastly, we promote franchising to the general public through research, through our website, and franchise expos that we host.
And what's the benefit for a brand to join the network of IFA?
Yeah, I think the biggest benefit, especially for early or startup brands or emerging brands, there's so much learning and sharing of information and education. People that have made the mistakes that, frankly, as a new brand or a emerging brand, that you shouldn't make yourself. That's the biggest, I think, benefit of the relationships that get formed within the membership of the IFA and the spirit of community and giving. We call it the franchise family because it's a really tight-knit group of people, and there's all sorts of different groups and committees, whether it's franchise development or franchise relations or franchise law, all runs the gamut across the IFA community.
I love that. You're really getting an ecosystem where you can now have key insights on how to avoid the mistakes that people made before you.
Right, and you also can come to our events and meet vendors, right? So suppliers, we have over 600 supplier companies, whether it's technology or marketing or outside law or sales. Those are the partners that are going to be with you, for every stage of your growth.
If someone was running a business, what's the benefit of the franchise model? Why should someone consider if they should franchise their business model or not?
Well, I like to say that you have this built-in network of other individuals or groups of small business owners that are running the same company that you're running. So particularly for a first-time business owner, you've got this bench strength of other people that are there to lean on and understand, their challenges and how to execute. And of course, you've got the franchisor that's there to support you. You have this shared success, right? We're both working towards the same goal of growing businesses in communities. And we like to say franchising only works when franchisees are, healthy and profitable and making money. And they're the ultimate validator for system growth for that franchisor. So it's the ultimate win-win when done responsibly and the right way.
When someone's considering to grow their franchise, what does it mean by franchising responsibly versus non-responsibly?
I think franchising responsibly or good franchising is really about, ensuring that your franchisees are successful. And that starts, before you even have somebody entering your system, right? Are you transparent in how you're offering and educating a prospect about what you're going to do within the relationship if they ultimately decide, to enter into it? So making sure that there's proper due diligence on, is that franchise prospect right for my system? And for a prospective franchisee, is this brand right for me? Is it the right marriage, essentially? And then within the relationship, it's embracing the relationship. Like it's a true, in most cases, 10-year relationship, and making sure that, as I said earlier, it's a win-win for both sides. And, there's going to be tough conversations, and it's not always going to be roses, but the collaboration, making sure that, franchisees are heard, right? Ultimately, the franchisor's got to make a decision, but it's got to be a decision that has, the best interests of their franchisees at the heart of the decision.
How have you seen the franchising sector just change over the years, and how far has it actually come?
Yeah, I think growth more than anything, right? If it's just, been a steady bell curve over decades, the number of concepts using the business model as a growth strategy, the number of people entering the franchise community as franchisees. So we're continuing to see a tremendous amount of growth, lots of diversity of types of businesses that are possibly franchisable. You can almost franchise anything. I met a perfumery franchise as one example at this event last night, and that's the first one of those that I've ever heard of. So I think more than anything, it's just the continued kind of the resiliency of the business model and the diversity of types of businesses that are using it and people that are looking at franchising as an alternative form of wealth creation.
And where do you see it going franchising in the next like 5, 10 years? What direction are we heading towards?
Yeah, I think we'll continue to see more growth, right? You see a lot of displacement in corporate America with adoption of AI. Lots of big corporations are, thinking about how to do more with less, but that's giving a lot of people a way to look at how to, go spend the rest of their, working career, right? And, do you want to work for the man or do you want to be the man, right? And in franchising, you kind of have the benefit of both, right? You got people that are, corporations that are there, but the opportunity to go into business, as we like to say, for yourself, but not by yourself. So I think we're going to see, more of that in franchising. And I think that's good for the country, good for the world, good for certainly our sector.
I love that. Now, for all the brands out there, why is it important to be a franchisors out there? Why is it important to be aware of the political environment of what's happening in franchising?
Yeah, well, I like to say if you're not at the table, you're on the menu, right? Government affairs and the political and advocacy work that we do at the IFA ensures that IFA has a seat at the table. You also need to have relationships with lawmakers and regulators, frankly, before you actually need them, before something, may be happening to you from a regulation or a piece of legislation. You can affect and influence the outcome, whether it's stopping something harmful that someone else may have proposed or advancing something that's, positive. So a great example of this is during COVID. There was the PPP program that was being developed in about 14 days. And the initial version of Paycheck Protection Program would not have allowed franchisees to access that program. But because the IFA knew the lawmakers personally and their staffs that were drafting this bill, we were able to quickly get in there and have conversations to change that legislation to ensure that every franchise owner could benefit from the Paycheck Protection Program. And that saved millions of jobs and thousands of businesses at a critical time. And had we not had the resources and the relationships to do that, this industry could look a lot different today.
How can franchisors get involved to contribute to the overall mission?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, you got to become a member of the IFA. So we have 1,200 franchisors that are members of the IFA, but there's more than 3,000, franchising in the US. So being a member, you get out of IFA what you put into it. You can support us in all sorts of ways politically, whether it's through our coalition to save local business, through FranPac, through getting your franchisees involved in advocacy and contacting their lawmakers and senators, and just helping us get the message out, right, about what franchising is through our channels. We have, hundreds of thousands of people visiting franchise.org every single day, looking at information about franchising and, being part of that story.
I love that. And for a franchisor that comes to one of your events, what can they anticipate of what the experience is going to be like at one of the conferences you guys hold?
Well, I think the knowledge sharing is the biggest piece, but also the relationship development. Those would be the two things that are the biggest benefits for, putting yourself in rooms like this, friends and mentors that will last a lifetime.
I love that. Well, Matt, thanks a lot for your time and congratulations on all your success.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.